What is up, Bulletproof Ballers? We're out here again. It's a Monday morning. It's pretty cold. I'm gonna take you with me on this sprint speed plyometric session today. The warm-up is gonna be more extensive than last week, and also there's gonna be something new added to the session that I figured out, okay, let's freaking work on that as well. It's gonna be something really I haven't really seen someone do, right? Like, except for Muchi Strength on Instagram, good friend of mine. He's actually done that with his athletes, and so I'm gonna do it as well. Feels really nice, and I think it only makes sense as well, thinking about football, thinking about what we have to do when playing football. So that's gonna be an addition. You're gonna see what that is, and the warm-up, as I said, gonna be more extensive today. We're gonna take in some knee flossing. We're gonna spend a little bit more time actually getting the whole body warmed up, because yeah, as I said, it's pretty freaking cold, but no excuse, we're getting rolling. So let's get straight into it. Starting off with some banded knee extensions. Can never go wrong with these. Getting the blood flowing in the lower legs, the quads, the knees. That's really it, right? Really focusing on squeezing that quad every time I extend. Doing different variations as well, and you can really go for hundreds and hundreds of reps here. Go further away if you want some more resistance pulling you in. Make it a little bit more dynamic. Wow, tell me your lower body's still feeling the same after doing this. I won't believe you. Now going into some knee flossing, one side at a time, because I only got one floss band with me today. Optimally, if you have two, just wrap them around both knees at the same time. Wrap just below your kneecap, nice and tight. Then go around and above. Really want to restrict that blood flow, give that compression. Okay, so now depending on your level, you're just gonna do it here. Okay, boom, less pressure on the knees. Eventually, doing it like this will really put more emphasis on the knees. Can still have your glutes engaged, but really pushing through those knees. And then stay down here for an even better pump. Just when you feel like, yeah, it's about time to take the floss band off, it's getting really intense, take it off, shake it out, and feel the smoothness, right? And the blood literally rushing into that area. Oh, nice. Next up, we're gonna go into our gait cycle, getting that whole lower body nice and integrated, and also getting the tissues activated in the exact position we're gonna be using when sprinting. Okay, when you're doing this, think as if you're like going through some resistance. Okay, it's not smooth. I think I said this already the last time, but it's not gonna have the same effect if you do it like this. Okay, you want to go slow, feel the glute, feel the hamstrings, curl up, extend, and then imagine you're pushing through the floor whilst you're sprinting here. Boom, pushing through the floor. All right, so your foot is engaged. No matter what, the isometrics, you want to be doing them barefoot. Okay, even if you can, all the exercise right now, right? But we have pretty wet floor here. It's cold, so I'm not getting my feet completely out, but this is so much different than to like push through a foot through that big padding. Like, this is even a barefoot shoe, so it's okay. But if you have these shoes with big padding, take them off whilst you're training. You have so much more sensory feedback. You're making so much better gains. Yeah, pretty wet already on my sock, but we prefer the gains, right? We prefer the gains. And we're holding this isometric for 5 minutes here. Ankle is stiff. The rest of your body is relaxed, okay? You're not like actively squeezing the quads or the glute. All you do, push through that big toe, have your forefoot into the ground, and back here you can push through the big toe as well, and then just hold and breathe deeply, okay? Twist into that side if you want. Get that head over this leg that's in front, and I can already feel my glute burning like crazy. Long duration isometrics, I feel like such an underrated tool as well, especially in rehab, where you need to rebuild that neurological connection, rewire towards tissues that have been shut off, right, or that had inhibition because you had an injury. All that kind of stuff. Long duration isometrics, especially when you start shaking, you know, okay, there's good stuff happening, okay? And then just keep going. A great example, martial artists, Shaolin monks, they do up to an hour of horse stance, I heard. So imagine you're holding an hour of horse stance, that connection that you're building through your body, and the amount of healing as well, because isometrics, we know, are great for tendon relaxation, laying down the collagen fibers, loading through the tissues, even the injured ones. You're not stress shielding, you're not avoiding the area that is injured, which you do when you do quick movements, because you're always going to be in survival mode. Like if you're running, if you're jumping, your body is going to use the strong parts of your tendon, not the weak parts, but that means your weak parts, your injured parts are not going to get up, right? That's it, explained really simply. Obviously there goes more into it. We have 25 seconds left. My glute literally feels like it's about to explode. Yeah, let me show you the shape of my foot right now, carved into the floor, because I've been standing here for so long. That's my foot right there. All right, I don't know what you want to do with this, but it looks quite funny. All right, I'll go for 5 more minutes on the other side. No need to film that for you as well, and I'll see you on the next exercise. Now we're getting into the hopping, getting those elastic properties going. You see boxers, they're always on their toes like this. I think like this is a powerful exercise for a lot of athletes, actually, not just boxers. Back and forth, being springy, right? Twisting. I was really getting that whole fascial system going. The elastic properties, the tendons, upper body stays relaxed, lower body stays sharp and quick. Let's go. Backwards sprints next. 10, 20, and 30 meters. Let's go. I can really feel my big toe there, because as you can imagine, you're going backwards, you're landing, first thing is the big toe, getting into that stretch position. And big toe is something that you gotta be, it's literally the first thing. If we're talking about the feet being your foundation, well, the big toe comes even first, even before that, right? Like big toe, mobility, strength. This is where you're getting that final bit of extension from, gives you the edge. Boom, when you're sprinting. It's where that final small bit comes through. And I feel like backwards running just gives you such a nice and different stimulus to all the other stuff that you've been doing. So backwards running really a must be if you want to get the best out of yourselves, protect yourself as well against going too much forwards without being able to handle that. As you go backwards, you strengthen more of those deceleration muscles that you need to slow down. Acceleration's next. It's really just the first couple steps, so it's not going to be long distance. I'm going to do 2 to 3 sets here as well. Feeling way more explosive than last week already for 2 reasons. One, last week I was on slippery grass. Even today is slippery, but I have shoes on, different shoes. They have some grip here, uncivilized sneakers, love them. So, and then also, like, you're just gonna make good progress if you do stuff once a week, go all out, and then you really let your body get the adaptations needed, and you don't overdo stuff, right? Like max velocity sprinting, there's no point of doing it like over and over and over again. You're not gonna get faster, you're gonna get more conditioned, 100%. So it's nothing bad if you have the tolerance to it, but if you're really wanting to get faster, more explosive, it's something I'm working on right now, right? Because I know, cool, I built the foundation so I can now get more explosive without putting myself at so much higher risk of injuring something, because I'm producing so much force, not able to handle it. Now I want to get more explosive. Let's go for another one here. All right, still tough with no studs on, so I'm actually gonna put one For the last set, I'm gonna put on some studs. They just feel way too tight. It's not the same. Like, this squashes my feet in after coming out of barefoot shoes. This is just like, it's not as optimal, definitely not. Especially, we talked about the big toe before. The big toe is not working optimally here in these shoes, where it goes in at the front, pushes the big toe in. Like, you can't push off as good, as efficient with the big toe, simply put. But then on the other side, I'm not sure how well this barefoot style is gonna do for football, like where you have these little touches and stuff. I'm not sure. What do you guys think? Oh, that makes a huge difference. Wow. Now, that makes a huge difference having the studs on. We are ready for the full sprints. Let's go. This was about 40 meter, 45 maybe distance of sprinting. So gonna have about 4 or 5 minutes of rest. Calm the heart rate down, get ready for the next max velocity one. All right, so I saw my form breaking down about here already in terms of not bringing the legs as high. So this time around, I'm gonna focus on really keeping that tall posture, keeping the legs high, making the best out of it. Well, this one felt way better. One, kept the posture better, more stiff ankles, had the studs on as well that helped me really to push off even better. It does make a difference on slippery terrain like this when it's rainy days. So a nice experience, definitely. All right, let me just show you what this next exercise is as I go through the camera. All right. As you've seen, lateral sprints, they not only look funny, they feel funny as well, but they feel amazing, let me tell you that. And it just makes so much sense if you're thinking about it from a perspective of a footballer that needs to go over here, boom, this is it, right? Look again, it's boom, you're taking this foot over, okay? Boom, you're going in this direction, okay? Right, or boom, you're going in this direction. So that boom, 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 constantly pushing off, it's just amazing. Okay, so we're going forwards, we're going backwards, and we're going sideways. Right, this is really what we want. Again, this is much different stimulus than just going forwards and backwards. Right, you're gonna feel different muscles activating, different areas potentially getting sore. Also for your feet, you see the quickest players, Messi, they're down here, right? So lateral sprinting is not something where you're really upright. You're down here, you're quick, okay? And this is really, in my opinion, something that translates to any field sport where you have to move laterally. Amazing, okay? So this is gonna be new in this routine on Monday from now on, and I highly recommend you do that too if you're already at the stage of sprinting, doing all that stuff backwards, level 1, forwards, level 2, sideways, level 3 in terms of difficulty, thinking about it from a knee rehab perspective as well. Obviously there is going to be more lateral forces going into the knee, which maybe you haven't trained as much for. So an exercise like this, boom, is great, but then you scale that to coming back up, okay? And then ultimately you go from here, boom, boom, that's what I'm saying. You go again, you go from boom, boom, and back up, okay? Boom, boom, boom. And you go other. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom. And you see, this is it. This is what you got to be prepared for in case you slip. Well, obviously, don't do it when it's wet. Build up to it first, but when you're back playing, you can't be, oh, today's wet, I can't play. You got to be prepared. In case you slip, what happens? How does your body react, right? How protected are you? If you end up in a weird position, have you built up the strength and integrity so that even in weird positions, right, you're not weak, okay? So another drill that you can do is something like this. All right, you have the lateral ankle drill. Really focus on the ankles in case you roll those out and in. But then you can do the same for your knees, right? Boom, 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 boom. It's always just different lines of force. Okay, so as weird as this might look, it is going to prepare and expose your tissue to a different line of force that in traditional rehab you're not going to be exposed to. Okay, especially when it comes to like ACL tears and stuff, they often happen here. So how well are we getting the feedback from the feet as we get into this position slowly to begin with, and then we go faster. Okay, boom, you go from here to here to here to here, right? Lateral forces prepares you much differently, and is very, very, very important. Let's go one more set of lateral sprints. There we go. That's it. That's the way. All right, single leg bounce next. Today we're not gonna go for 5-6 reps. We're gonna go for 3, but max effort really. Okay. Oh wow. Well, you see, this is what I meant last week. If you go too far on the first hop or on the second hop, you're not gonna get that rebound again. So it's a great test of your elasticity. How well can you jump off one leg? And obviously the more explosive you get, the better you have to absorb the force and redirect it. So we're gonna go a little bit slower this time around so that we can actually make this look good as well. Very nice one, left side. As you can see there, and it's no surprise, I had years and years of creating that imbalance by just jumping up from one leg, which is the left leg, landing with the left leg. So it's no wonder I'm more elastic here on the left side, okay? And that's why it's even more important to get that right side back up. Now, what I'm doing here, landing, smashing my leg into the ground, this would have felt not quite nice 2 years ago, right? Like when my knee literally felt like it was gonna blow up. Every shrimp, every kind of acceleration I would want to do, I was in pain. Now I'm able to do this and throw my body into this, which I'm really grateful for. And now we can improve. We can really build more bulletproofing. Okay, because bulletproofing isn't something you achieve. Oh, now you're bulletproof. No, it's something you continuously aim for, knowing you're never going to be completely bulletproof, but it's going to get you more protected over time. Nice one, much better. Now I was kind of lacking the elasticity on the left side, you see. Now I didn't get off the floor as quickly. So you see my form is starting kind of break down here. So what we're gonna do is call it a day. Get the gains. Next week we go again, even better, okay? I can see I'm gonna improve from week to week. It's already feeling more powerful. I'm pushing myself much more than last week. That's why it's harder, right? Like I'm jumping further, so it's much harder to then jump off again. So getting that challenge in, but also realizing, cool, form is starting to break down. We either go for a nice quality set right now to finish off, or we call it a day with the single leg bounce, right? And since I'm gonna go and do something else right now, gonna call it a day for the single leg bounce. All right, back to barefoot shoes for this last one. Last week, I've done depth drops off the crossbar while filming videos. Now I will do deep knee bounces, get a measurable stimulus, still getting into that deep knee bend, deep plyo right here, okay? This is it. Boom, tough one, but again, worth it for the whole entire lower body gains, especially the knee, getting into that deep knee bend, and now being elastic here, going through it more quickly. There's going to be a lot of compression on the internals of the knee, on the cartilage, the meniscus, all these tissues, but if applied in a healthy way, progressed over time, it's only going to make your knees more resilient, okay? Kids, they could land in this position multiple times every single day, jumping off heights much higher than they could jump up to, double their body height probably. So it is really something that we need to be dominating, that deep knee bend. Just as we want to be dominating up here, you want to be dominating down here to make sure your knee joint is dominating, okay? If you want to be dominating at football, which is up here, you need a healthy knee joint, okay? So then you also want to really think about how to dominate with your knee. How does your knee dominate? Well, your knee is not just dominating up here, it's also dominating down here, okay? That deep range, whether that's slow, whether that's fast, that doesn't matter. We want to have both. It's not whether or not you do this while playing football, getting into deep knee bend, bouncing around here. It's whether or not you need a healthy knee. Yes, you do, and a healthy knee is able to bounce around here slow and also fast. That's what it's all about. All right, we'll wrap it up here. Episode 4 of Injured to Bulletproof. As you could see, today's training session as well, there was fails, right? We slipped, we basically sunk into the floor doing single leg bounds. All of this is part of the process, right? No one is saying this is just going to be smooth and perfect, but it's about challenging, and it's about being able really to challenge you that much that, oh, I can't handle that yet, in terms of proper form, in terms of good quality, not in terms of your tissues breaking down, right? My tissue is building up from these sessions. It's not breaking down. So this is what it's all about, and I hope you enjoyed this episode, could learn something new again, and hopefully we'll see us in the next video.